Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Maria. So I wanted to share a quick knit, which I've actually been working on all day because I've been doing other things, but it actually is a quick knit if you just sit down and do it or stand up or whatever and get to it. It's not bad at all. So I got this pattern about 2018, and a friend of mine, Kari Innings, had sent me some yarn. And Kari is Trudy Chase's daughter. And she was going through her mother's things and found some yarn, and she wanted to know if I could use it. And I immediately thought, I want to make something for Kari. And I wanted it to be in the style of something that Trudy had worn. And so I went back to the movie When Rabbit Howls, which Trudy produced the movie When Rabbit Howls and wrote the book When Rabbit Howls and Creature of Habit. And so I've got videos out here about that. And I found that in the movie where Shelley Long portrays Trudy and the troops, that in this bus ride or train or whatever she's on to get to her stepfather to confront him, she's reliving her whole life. And they keep going back to her, and she's in the train station, she's on the train, and she's at times got her hat off, and at other times she's got it on, and she's wearing this red hat, red coat, and I think it's red. From memory, I think it's red. And it's kind of a flat top. It kind of reminds me of Russia, Siberian, very elegant look. And it's not knitted. It's definitely a fabric flat top hat. And I thought I want to make this for Kari because it's her mother's yarn, and it's I've mentioned it before, and some people were like, were you getting wild energy off that yarn when you were working? I was like, no, very peaceful, very peaceful. So I made her a scarf and a hat. It was a cowl and a hat. But then the other day I was thinking about it. I ran into this pattern on Facebook when I made it for her, and I don't remember her ever saying she received it. I knew they said they were going to move. I sent it to the address I had because she had sent me a journal for When Rabbit Howls, or not When Rabbit Howls, Creature of Habit, and she had sent me the yarn, and I used that address. So now I'm going to ask Kari, did she ever get the hat? And the cowl neck had a little button on it. And so I'll share the pattern below. But basically, in the information, what you're doing is you're using a bulky yarn, a number 6 chunky bulky yarn. The creator of this pattern used Wool-Ease Lion Brand. I don't work with animal products, so I'm using Lion Brand Homestead Chunky 6. This is called Azarel, and you can't really see it in this lighting, but it's very purple. And if you don't have chunky yarn, because it is really expensive, the chunky yarn, and it's all the statement yarn, and the big rage right now is to use the chunky yarn, make the quick knit. What you can do is, I'm also making Winter Wonderland headbands that are just stockinette on either side and cable, and they call for a 6. But I don't have a lot of 6s in different colors or bulky in different colors, nor do I want a bunch of bulky in different colors or to spend that money or take up all that room. So what I do is I do something called Navajo knit when you want to bump up your yarn, And that's what I did for this, which you really can't tell that it's not the same as this. So if you don't have, where's the end of this? If you don't have, I'll just show you this way. Make an exaggerated slip knot and just pull your yarn through and turn it this way. And then just keep pulling your yarn through. Like about an arm's length as you're going. And you pull your yarn through, and you pull your yarn through, and you end up with this. 3 strands of yarn. And that is your bumped up yarn, and it becomes 6, but not only that, it becomes really soft and plush like a chunky, soft, bumped up yarn. So if you don't have 6 bulky and you want to make these flat top hats, which you can make under 2 hours if you really stay with it, for gifts and stuff, or you want to do a quick knit or crochet with a bulked up yarn, you could just Navajo knit or Navajo crochet, I guess you would call it, by bumping up your yarn. You don't have to like hold 2 strands together. You can just do that slip knot, go ahead and elongate it a little extra, and then just keep going. So this pattern is 50 stitches cast on, any cast on you want to do. I've made them with an Old World cast on or German cast on, and I've made them with a long tail cast on or a knit cast on. So anything that you enjoy for your cast on, just get 50 stitches on a number 9mm 13 US needle, and you can use like a 38-inch cable or a 48-inch cable. I would go with a 48-inch cable, and you can do what's called magic loop, where you're working with 2 needles to work in the round, or you can work with DPNs. You're eventually going to need DPNs to close it on the top. So if you really don't like working with DPNs, I would get a cable at 48 and learn how to do the magic loop. Excuse me. So you're going to cast on your 50 stitches, and then you're either going to separate them off onto 3 or 4 needles as evenly as you can. You're not going to be able to have it even. If you have 3 needles, you're probably going to have 15 on each needle, maybe 18 on another. If you have 4, you're going to have 12 and 15. So, it just depends on your style of how you like to knit. I'm going to cut that. And because I'm using stash yarn, I'm having to kind of pinch together a lot of different yarn here and there. Okay. And kind of lock it in and then cut off the ends that are kind of frizzy. So you're going to go ahead and do 12 rows of knit. Pick that up, put that here. 12 rows of knitting and purling. So it's stockinette. I know I said knit, but knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl for 12 rows. And that gives you the stockinette. And then, after you've done your 12 rows, I've got a lot of splitty stuff I'm picking up. After you've done your 12 rows, you go ahead and row 14 and 15, you're going to purl. So, your knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl is going to be this. That's what it's going to look like. Which is just like a really cool kind of rib stitch. And then after you purl those 2 rows, that gives you your edge up here. So your stockinette is like from here to here, and then your edge is going to be those 2 rows of pearls. You'll make it look like a ripple edge, and that helps because then you're going to do 5 rows of knitting all the way around. You're going to stay at 50 stitches for quite a while, all the way around. So that's good. You don't have to remember stitches and everything. So for your 5 rows, for your first 4 rows, you're going to knit. On your 5th row, you're going to go ahead and place a marker every 10 stitches. And if you don't have, and I don't know who does, big stitch markers to place around chunky big needles, just use yarn. Make little little blaze markers out of your yarn. So after you get your 5 done and you've placed your markers, then you're just going to start a really slow decrease by knitting 8 and then knitting 2 together right before your place marker, and then slipping your place marker all the way around. Then you're going to do 7, knit 2 together all the way around. Then you're going to do 6, 5, 4. When you get to 4, you're going to bind off, cast off. But somewhere in that going around and around, you're going to have to go off onto the DPNs. So I prefer to take everything off and go onto the DPNs before I start decreasing too much. So probably after that first row of decrease, or before I even place my markers, I will go ahead and go off onto the DPNs. She has a video tutorial out there where she is showing you how to do it on the DPN. But a lot of people don't have DPNs, so if you don't, you could do the magic loop. So that's the whole hat pattern, and I will list it below for you. And after about 3 rows of these 5 rows, you should start to see it go flat. So this is row 1. Oh no, this is row. Let me put my glasses back on. I keep forgetting where they are, and they're on top of my head. Okay, this is row 2 of the knit. So when I get to 4, I'm going to place my markers. I want to make sure I got rid of 3 stitches. I had picked up some splitty stuff and it made another stitch. Okay, so now you can begin to see how it's going to go flat. It's going to go this way. Okay. Really fun, easy knit. And so is the Winter Wonderland headband. I'm going to leave the link for you there because they're just fun to use up your stash yarn, make some really nice gifts for people, do a giving, crochet or knitting tree. I'm going to do that over by where I work. We have some trees over by the bus stop where I work, and there's always people that are losing their hats. They're stranded in the cold, and you just put them in freezer bags, and hang them up, and I put a little message or scripture in them, and then people can just, take a little hat, some mittens. You'd be surprised how many people lose their hats. Take them off. Maybe they're sweating when they're walking, set them down, and they're gone. I'm always finding in the winter people's hats that are completely frozen in the snow. So, and I really don't want to walk by any frozen cold people this winter. So, if anything, if you have stashed yarn, make a bunch of hats. Get the really nice freezer bags, and you can put little baby hangers in them, or you can just what was the other thing I use? Like the Christmas hooks that go on the tree. Those work really good too. Just hang them on a tree. Get permission to do it, and you could write Psalm 91 in it, or be blessed, or stay warm, or people are thinking of you, or hang in there, just anything. Have a nice day, whatever. It's a nice little thing, and just take one, right? Okay, so you're going to go all the way around for your 4 rows. Place your markers on your fifth row, and then it's just a slow decrease. Those last few rows, you're just going to keep knitting until you decrease to, I believe I think you'll have like 8 to 10 stitches left. That you can use the flat end, the non-hook end of a crochet hook, because it's kind of hard to get an embroidery needle and pick this up and draw it through. I happen to have a long embroidery needle that I can use for this, but if you don't, you can use a crochet hook to just pick up your stitches and pull them through, pull your yarn through and fasten off those last few stitches. So, yeah, you can see how it's going flat now. I'm getting there. And even though it's a really slow decrease, yeah, I'm all the way to my 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I'm on row 3. Now I am. 1, 2, 3. So, you can see how it curves in. It's going to be flat top. So that's it. That's the pattern. And I'll come back and show it to you when I'm wearing it and make the headband and show you how to make that. So you can see how this is going to go in. It's going to come together in a nice flat here and little swirl here as you fasten off. Have a nice day. I just wanted to share some fun stuff with you. And Kari, please let me know if you ever got the hat. Otherwise, I'm going to make you a hat. Although I used your mother's yarn. I used Trudy's yarn for your hat and scarf for you. So that was the whole point. Ooh, okay. And very good, peaceful energy with the yarn. Okay. Have a nice day, everyone. Take care.